Welcome to Thriving with Chiropractic, where Dr. Mosier from Mosier Family Chiropractic shares a variety of topics designed to empower, inspire, and give hope. Take a few notes and enjoy the lesson.
Well, hey folks, this is Dr. Mosier here, and I have an awesome friend of mine, Roberto Monaco, and I'm so excited for him to be joining us. But I got a quick story to share with you. So this morning it was raining cats and dogs, and this morning I was taking the boys to daycare and parked the truck, got out, had to, in the rain, unbuckle the boys, get the boys out, take him in there. I was soaked. I mean, just dripping from head to toe. And I'm thinking about this because, you know, this evening, Isaiah, we have to go to his open house for preschool. Like, my baby boy is growing up. And I'm telling this story because Roberto Monaco has a phenomenal story. It is, you just have to hear this. But Roberto, you worked for Tony Robbins for years. You were I got my notes here, the top producer in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. I mean, you are the man, and you totally changed. Like, your seminar blew my socks off. Like, literally, there's Doc's socks. He just went across the room. You were amazing. But it wasn't so much, and I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting you to do that because, well, you're not a chiropractor, but your passion for chiropractic and what it can do for people is out of this world. So let's get started. I got to ask you, why do you work with chiropractors? What is your chiropractic story?
Thank you. Well, first of all, Dr. Mosier, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Super proud to be in the show. And I have been doing a public speaking presentation training since 2002, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. I work for the Anthony Robbins companies. So in 2009, I opened a company called Influenceology. And what we do, we help professionals to use communication to acquire more clients, to acquire more patients. And life was good. I was working with 40 industries until I met my wife. I met my wife 10 years ago. And we started dating, and we realized we want to have a family, get married. And at that time, my wife said, you know what? I want to stop taking birth control pills. She stopped, and her period never went back. And she goes, okay, we wait 6 months, wait a year. And she went to 4 different MDs, and no answer. We really got no answer. And at that time, I was getting involved with chiropractic. One of my clients, Gary Gunderson, introduced me to a guy named Chris Zano. And one day I was chatting. He goes, go see a chiropractor. So we went to a chiropractor. We got our x-rays. And I realized that my wife had a big subluxation in her neck and the lower back. And we both started chiropractic care. And a year passed by. We felt amazing. Her period still never came back. 2 years into chiropractic care, no change. 3 years into chiropractic care, we felt amazing. We didn't get sick anymore. We were sleeping better. Still, her period never came back. Mm-hmm. And I remember was 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. I remember it was December 24th. I wake up in the morning. I'm in San Francisco hanging out at my mother's-in-law house, and I'm drinking coffee with her, and my wife is sleeping, and then my wife wakes up, goes to the bathroom, opens the door, bawling. I mean, literally bawling, couldn't talk. And I said, what happened, hon? What happened? She goes, I got my period. I'm like, are you sure? She goes, I'm sure. And that was like, I don't know, 4.5 years into the whole process. Fast forward, we got pregnant. And by that time, Dr. Mosier, we had so many amazing chiropractors as friends, and they told us, look, one option is to have a natural birth with Sophia. Watch the movie, The Business of Being Born. So we said, that might be a good idea. So we went to Netflix. By the way, if you have not watched it, I highly encourage you to watch the movie. So we watch it. My wife goes, I want to have a natural birth. I say, no problem. So we found a birth center in San Diego. And we went after 22-hour labor. Sophia was born. Now, when Sophia was born, she had antibiotic fluid in her lungs, and she couldn't cry. She couldn't cry like a baby cry. And the two midwife nurses tried a couple things, nothing happened. She couldn't throw up the antibiotic fluid. And the two midwife nurses said, well, if she doesn't get better, in 12 hours, we're going to take you and Sophia to the hospital, because by California law, after you're born in a natural birth center facility, you have 12 hours. And after 12 hours, if the mom and the baby are healthy, can go home. If not, they're going to go to the hospital. And she was born at 10:16 p.m. and it was 5 a.m. And Sophia wasn't, behaving like a healthy baby. She wasn't crying like powerfully. She was having a hard time breathing. They attached her machine on her to measure her oxygen levels. And I was like 5 in the morning. I got my phone and I text my chiropractor and I said, hey, Dr. Ryan, is there any way you can come here? And I sent a text. And then I got a text back and he said, I was waiting for the call. So he came around 5:30. Sophia was, 8 hours old. She lay down. And then Dr. Ryan felt her atlas bone, gently adjust her once, waited 3 minutes, adjust her for the second time. And he looked at my wife and said, she's good to go, she's clear. And Dr. Ryan grabbed Sophia and gave Sophia to my wife, and like a miracle, Sophia went like this, threw up the antibiotic fluid that was stuck in her lungs. And she gave the most beautiful, powerful baby cry. I looked to my right. I still have chills. I had told the story 1,000 times. I looked to my right, and Dr. Ryan Hummel, he's a tall guy, used to play rugby, with tears come down, literally. And he said, did you see the power of the innate? And I'm like, wow, I couldn't believe it. So he laughed because he had to open his practice. And after half an hour, the two midwife nurses came to the room, and Sophia was breathing normally. Her oxygen levels normalized, and the two midwife nurses said, what happened? And I told them, look, I called my chiropractor, came here, adjust her, she threw up, she's fine. And they go, no, what really happened? I'm like, that's exactly what happened, And the best part, Dr. Chris and everybody who are watching us here today is that that morning, the next day at 10 a.m., we didn't go to the hospital, went back home safely. And that's my passion for chiropractic. And I remember, by the way, I have all these pictures. I have videos on YouTube documenting this story. And 2 days later, I got my phone and I took a picture of Sophia sleeping. And all the last 4 or 5 years, that journey, my wife journey, started playing like a movie in my mind. And I had this huge realization. When we decided to have a natural birth in San Diego, the birth center recommend us to take a weekly class for 8 weeks every Wednesday evening. You go there for 2 hours. And we had 10 couples, right? 10 couples that chose a natural way of having a child, right? And out of the 10 couple, only one dad, only one mom, only one baby were under chiropractic care, which was me. So experiencing what I experienced. By the way, Sophia now is 4. Never had one aspirin. And when I tell that to people, they go like, like, never had one aspirin. She's 4. My baby boy is 2. Never had one aspirin or ear infection or nothing. They're like chiro babies. And people are like, They look at me like, so chiropractic has not only helped my wife and ourselves, but they shape the destiny of both of my kids. So my mission that I'm super passionate about is just helping chiropractors to become even better communicators so they can bring more people to chiropractic care. Simple as that. That's my only agenda with chiropractors, is to help them to become better leaders, better communicators, so that they can get their chiropractic story in front of more people who are currently don't understand chiropractic, right? When I was at the birth center, I look at these 9 other couples they're looking for something naturally. That's why they didn't go the traditional. By the way, I'm not saying anything about the traditional medical system. I think is very important for us to have. But these people like, no, I want to have more like a natural experience. But nobody understood chiropractic that. Nobody. Right?
Yeah.
Why my wife is she was pregnant, right? Why she's getting chiropractic care? Why I was getting if I didn't have pain? Why my baby's going to be in a chiropractic care even though they didn't have any pain? Why my future baby is like all these questions they didn't understand because they didn't understand the power of the nervous system. So that's why I'm here, brother. So I want to share this story because it has dramatically had a huge. A lot of people want to hear the story. I think that's the beginning, but the end is better. That's how they live today. You know what I mean? Like how the story is really powerful, and I love it. But how they live today, the weekly adjustments going in, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the chiropractic lifestyle, and that's the power lies.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I told you guys, this man is full of passion, but Isaiah and Sophia are literally like the same age. They're probably within months apart. And I couldn't imagine my life without my baby boy. And it's just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I have, women tell me all the time, that they want to get pregnant and then they start under care. And now I'm not saying this as a guarantee, but I'm going to be honest with you. We are awesomely successful just here in this little community, Salem. I had one lady say, we need to make billboards for you. We need to get t-shirts made. Go see Dr. Moser. He'll get you pregnant. And I'm like,
that's not good. That's not good. That's not good advertising. Your wife's not going to like that one, that t-shirt.
But I mean, Roberto, could you even imagine your life without, Sophia and your baby boy? Like,
no, it's just a matter of I think one of the biggest lessons is just like healing takes time.
Yes.
And I'm not a doctor, by the way, but just through my journey, healing takes time. So if you're out there, because what people don't realize is that because our lifestyle, our physical stress, emotional stress, toxicity, right? We damage our bodies a little bit, every day a little bit. And you do that for 10, 20, 30 years and eventually be like, hey, I want to be healthy right now. Kind of like doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? So, and that's like, and I'll tell you, as my wife and I are going through that journey, she was discouraged a lot of times because, and I think that I was lucky because I was working with so many chiropractors and from so many different parts of the country, different countries. And I always hear the story about, hey, I couldn't get pregnant. I'm like, they did, and these people telling these stories, they didn't know what I was going through because I was keeping my story private. And I'm like, man, this is like, it's everywhere. And I kept saying my wife, no, let's keep going. And for us was, truly life-changing. My personal opinion, everybody should be in the chiropractic care. My wife take my babies every week and they're both healthy babies, no pain. Why do we, to keep their immune system firing off, their body firing off at the best version they can be. That's what it is. That's what the real power of chiropractic care. And there's way more to it. During the pandemic, when we started back in May last year, when I was saying my wife, and this has nothing to, this is not political at all. This is like a statement from my dad and from my mom conversation. And my wife one night said, the best thing about our involvement with chiropractic during all these years? And I was expecting to hear, Sophia's story, right?
Yeah.
And I Sophia's story. She goes, no, that was amazing too, but it's something that is equally as good or always better. I'm like, what? She goes, right now, we are not afraid. Because you understand the power of the nervous system, right? And that was such a big, it's kind of like for those who are under chiropractic care, is not only the adjustment that takes place, but also the philosophy behind that drives the adjustment. And I think it's important for every patient to understand that too. You know what I mean?
I
So,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the big thing. You know, I told you women are getting in small town Salem here, women are getting pregnant. We have kids racing to get to the adjusting tables, you know, but the big thing, Roberto, you know, we talked, right? We had conversations about Ellen's migraines, and we had conversations about Isaiah, you know, being born out of the OR C-section, and how the doc ripped and twisted him out, and all that. But I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to tell my story, right? And you sat down with me, and I've been able to effectively communicate to people. Literally, Roberto, I would not be doing this if it wasn't for you.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
I mean that. But, you know, now I'm able to broadcast. I'm able to be comfortable in front of people to share my story, because people need to know, you know, you guys, you had no idea what chiropractic can do until you began working with us crazy chiropractors, you know? So my last question for you is really, what is your most rewarding experience working with a chiropractor, like a testimonial of how you took someone scared to death to even talk to someone, to being able to be on stage?
You know, I've been doing that for on my own with my company since 2009. So I have a lot of stories, but I'm a kind of guy who lives in the present, you know. So I want to talk about you, and here this is kind of, it's cool, buddy, because I remember when you came to Orlando and everybody left and you and I start talking, you know, just chatting. We were like, I don't know, it was day one or day two. We just stay, we just chat, we connect. And now you're speaking, you had your book, you're doing workshops, dinners, you're doing a live show. So for me, brother, just what makes me excited, you know, personally, why I do what I do, because you go out there and you implement and you change your lives in your own way. You know what I mean? Like with your own stories, your own message, your own way of looking at things. So that excites me. Yeah. Do I have a lot of stories? I have a ton of stories, but I just want to acknowledge you for investing in yourself. Dr. Chris invests in himself, work hard. He was sending me videos, sending me dinners for almost a year, and I was critiquing him, and he got him better and better. And now we're here. So super excited for you, brother. Super excited. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, that means the world to me, Roberto. You know, I just got to ask you, do you have anything to share? Any last final thoughts for the audience? Anything?
Well, the first thing I think is that two ideas. One is get your family involved with chiropractic care. A lot of times you have a dad going, or the mom going, or the kids going. You know, one of my favorite things to do doesn't happen every week. Does not happen every week, but happens on a monthly basis. My whole family go together to chiropractor, you know, and it's so fun, you know, like so fun. So we make a date out of it. Family adjusting time is super fun. So this is the fun part. Obviously, there's the health benefits part, you know, because families who are healthy together stay together. So obviously, if you're going to see Dr. Chris, is because you understand chiropractic, you see the benefits, you like how he takes care of you. So bring your family, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be when you come home, sometimes, let's say you don't feel like getting adjusted, you don't want to drive, but then you have your spouse, your kids, no, let's go. When you have the culture, the family culture of going, get adjusted together is awesome. Right? So that's one thing. Get your family involved. And number two, anybody out there who have, I have two companies. Actually, I'm launching my third one right now, a marketing company. But let's talk about the first two. I have a company called Chiro Speaking Company for chiropractors. And they have a company that I started actually in 2009, which is called Influenceology. If you go there to influencelogic.com, you can download some. I have 5 ebooks on speaking communication. Feel free to download them.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I absolutely appreciate you so much. And I hope we can do this again sometime.
You will, brother. We will. I'm here. Thanks so much for the invitation today. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you found value in this video, please comment and let us know your biggest takeaway. We also ask that you don't keep this information to yourself. We ask that you share it with your friends and family by simply clicking the share button below.